the student. Today we are discussing perfect competition market. What is perfect competition market and how we determine the price and output under perfect competition market? Well, a market where a large number of buyers and sellers deal in a homogeneous product at the same price. That market is called perfect competition market. In this market, new firms are allowed to enter into the industry, and any existing firm may leave the industry. We must know that a firm means a unit of an industry. An industry is a collection of firms. So when we say that new firm may join the industry, it means that new firms, new business, new enterprises producing the same product may join the industry. And if the circumstances are not good, any existing firm may leave the industry. So what are the features or characteristics of a perfect competition market? The first one is presence of a large number of buyers and sellers. The second is homogeneous product. The third, buyers and sellers are fully aware of the market price. This means that buyers know that the sellers are producing the same product, so they never pay high price to any seller. And similarly, sellers know that we all are producing the same product, so no seller attempts to charge high price. So this is the advantage of awareness of buyers and sellers about the market price, that the price remains same. Next, there is no restriction on entry and exit of a firm. I already told you that new firms may join the industry and any existing firm may leave the industry. And the last one is perfect mobility of factors of production. It means factors are allowed to move from one firm to another firm, from one organization to another organization. What is meant by equilibrium? Equilibrium of a firm. We know that the demand and supply brings equilibrium in the market. When the same quantity is demanded and supplied, so the point where the quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied, that determines the equilibrium point. So this is how we determine the equilibrium price under perfect competition. So when we discuss the equilibrium of a firm under perfect competition, we take price as given. So equilibrium means a market situation when a firm either makes maximum profit or suffers minimum loss, depending upon the market conditions. In equilibrium position, there is no incentive for the firm to expand or contract its output. There are two conditions of equilibrium. First, marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, and second, marginal cost curve must cut marginal revenue curve from below. The next slide. Equilibrium in short run. Well, students, short run means a period of time in which a firm can change its output by increasing or decreasing its variable factors of production. As I already told you, that the fixed factors during short run cannot be changed. That is why the size of a firm or an industry cannot be changed in short run. There may be a small increase or decrease in output. A big change cannot be brought about in short run. Under perfect competition in short run, there may be the four possibilities. The first is a firm making supernormal profit. When a firm makes supernormal profit, the two curves, average cost curve and the average revenue curve, determine whether a firm is making profit or facing loss. So when the average revenue is more than average cost, the firm makes supernormal profit, because normal profit is included in average cost. For example, if average cost is rupees 100 and average revenue is rupees 120, so 20 rupees will be the supernormal profit. In rupees 100, normal profit is included. It means that if the firm sells the product for rupees 100, it would be making normal profit. So let's see the slide. AR is equal to OP. When we see the diagram, OP is the average revenue. It is equal to EQ. What is average cost? It is E dash Q. So from the diagram it is clear that the average revenue OP or EQ is greater than the average cost, that is E dash Q. Here per unit supernormal profit is average revenue minus average cost. Average revenue is EQ, average cost is E dash Q. So EQ minus E dash Q is equal to E dash. This is the per unit supernormal profit. If we find out the total supernormal profit, so very simple, total revenue minus total cost. From the diagram we can find out the total revenue, that is OPEQ. OP is average revenue and OQ is total output that a firm is producing. So average revenue means price, when is multiplied with output, it is total revenue. Similarly, average cost is OP dash, when it is multiplied by total output OQ, the total cost comes OP dash E dash Q. So when we subtract total cost from total revenue, it is the total supernormal profit. From the diagram, it is clear that the shaded area P dash E dash EP is the total supernormal profit. Now come to the second possibility, a firm making normal profit. Definitely, if the average cost of a firm is equal to average revenue, as I just told you in the example, that the firm is selling its product for rupees 100 and its cost is 100, the firm will be making normal profit. The average cost and average revenue at point E are equal, which means the average cost and average revenue of the firm is same. The average revenue makes a tangent at E point with average cost. So here the conditions of equilibrium are satisfied because marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue at E point, and it cuts marginal revenue curve from below. So we find out the equilibrium first and then we draw average cost curve. The average cost curve is drawn in such a way that it is equal to average revenue at E point. So average revenue and average cost are same, therefore firm is making normal profit. Now comes to the next slide, a firm operating at small loss. Dear students, small loss and heavy loss. When a firm faces the situation of small loss and when it is suffering from heavy loss, if a firm covers its variable cost fully and fixed cost partly, it faces small loss. On the other hand, if a firm covers only its variable cost and nothing of fixed cost is being covered, this means the firm is operating at heavy loss. Here in this case, you just see that the average cost is E dash Q and average revenue is EQ at equilibrium level. Well, what is the small loss here? E dash shown by the shaded area is the total loss and E dash is the per unit loss. Because average cost minus average revenue is the per unit loss. Average cost is E dash Q and average revenue is EQ. Per unit loss is E dash. And how we calculate total loss? Total loss can be calculated by subtracting total revenue from total cost. Total cost is O P dash E dash Q and total revenue is O P E Q. So the shaded area is the total small loss. Now the next, a firm operating at heavy loss. As I just told you that when a firm covers its variable cost, there will be a loss of total fixed cost. Here in this diagram, the average cost of the firm is E dash Q. EQ is average variable cost. This average variable cost is fully covered, and the difference between E dash is the per unit fixed cost, which is not being covered by the firm. So E dash Q minus EQ is E dash. This is the per unit loss. The total loss is calculated by subtracting total revenue from total cost. Here the total cost is OPEQ and the total revenue is OPEQ. The total loss is PE dash P dash, shown by shaded area. Well, let us now discuss the equilibrium of a firm under perfect competition in long run. So first of all, we understand what is the long run. Long run is a period in which all factors become variable. As we discussed in short run, that we can change only variable factor in short run. But here in long run, the period is long enough to bring about change in all the factors. There is no fixed and variable. All factors are variable, which means that you can change the size of firm. You can change the size of industry. If the new firms enter into the industry, the size of industry will increase. If a firm wants to increase its output by changing land and building, machinery, so it may enlarge its size. The size of firm can be changed. In the long run, for example, if in short run the firms are making supernormal profit, there will be motivation to the outsiders, producers, to enter into this industry in the long run. They may join the industry in the long run. This will increase the supply of the product, brings the price down, and all the firms start making normal profit. So in short run, if there is supernormal profit, so with the entry of new firms, the firms will start making normal profit. On the contrary, if the market situation is such that firms are facing loss, some of the firms may decide to leave the industry. This will bring the supply down, and when supply decreases, it carries the price up to the normal profit level, and the remaining firms would start making normal profit. Thus, in the long run, price will be equal to marginal cost, will be equal to minimum average cost. Let's see the diagram. Here LMC is the long run marginal cost curve, which intersect the average revenue curve, marginal revenue curve at point E. So this is the first condition of equilibrium, that long run marginal cost must cut marginal revenue, and it must cut from below. This is the second condition. So both the conditions are satisfied at point E. At this point, long run average cost of the firm is also same, because the firm is making normal profit, and for normal profit average cost must be equal to average revenue. So in long run, not only marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, but also average cost is equal to average revenue. So this is the long run equilibrium under perfect competition. So thank you very much for today's lecture.